I've been visiting schools for last couple of days, and most schools that we visited were owned by faith-based organization. And today I'm addressing government's own primary school. I've heard what the head teacher has mentioned, and I will be having a discussion with the head teacher and probably with you um, on one-to-one level a little later on some of the matters that were raised and how we can solve that. There has to be a big realization as to how the schools need to be run so that it is run in a very cost-effective way. You know that education is not a, I would say, a cheap business. It's a very expensive business. The government itself has invested over $400 million in education, and in the last national budget, it was about $420 million. Years before, it was like $530 million. So it's a huge investment the government is making towards education. And I always question, if we are investing such a large sum of money, then where is our returns? Where is our return? And of course, our return is the children themselves. As they grow, they fit into the society, they contribute to the economic development of the country. That's all we want. We want students who come out of university, they become marketable in the job market. They also fit into a societal norms that we create. They become good citizens. They understand other human beings around them. So we live as a multiracial country in harmony. So that is what we expect. Right, so that would be, I would say, our return when we do such huge investment. And educated, I mean, you know it very well that education is changing. And over the years, you might have noticed that there is a global change in education sector, huge change, and it is not stopping. I cannot foresee how education will look like, say, next 10 years. We have seen a glimpse of education when the pandemic occurred, right? There was a lockdown. We've seen a glimpse of what education can be. And the glimpse that I'm talking about is when you were at home and you to prepare these home weekly study packages, go online, teach the students through online mode, talking to them on the phone, clarifying issues to them, email communication. That's what future looks like. That is the future. And we all have to move in that direction. And you have also seen with your own eyes the caliber of our students when it comes to IT, as if they were born with IT tools. Makes you wonder, isn't it? Even as parents, when you face problem with your IT technology, any IT tools, whom do you call? Huh? Your children. And then you scratch your head and say, oh my God, how did he or she know this? Right, so that is our future. So our education need to we got to involve the technology. If we don't involve the technology, students will not be interested in their studies because they are so used to technology. And we have to motivate them to study. And we can only motivate them by involving some technology in the studies so that they get excited and interested. And these days, teachings take place through games. Even games are created. Through games, you are able to teach students. So we are of the opinion that the teachers we produce from our teacher training institution has to be one that fits into the new change that's coming about. And the existing teachers, you need to again upgrade, professionally develop yourself through in-service courses or through other professional development courses so that you are also in line with the developments that is taking place. I mean, such is the nature of education business. If you don't move with time, you'll be left behind. Right? New graduates will come in with all these knowledge, experience, tech savvy, and they'll just start occupying the empty seats. You know what I'm saying, right? So for that reason, we need to be up to date with the latest development that is taking place. But I'm here today to talk about the good work you have done during pandemic. You know that COVID pandemic has caused a lot of uncertainty. It has caused a lot of hardship. It has caused a lot of pain to people. And pandemic is something that we don't see every day. We were the unfortunately the unlucky ones who witnessed a pandemic of this scale, where the economy came to its knees, the borders were shut down. We saw what happened to the tourism industry. Whenever you passed Nandi, you saw the aeroplanes all parked at the airport. Very unusual sight, but we have seen it all. We've seen it. We've seen people dying. We have seen the closure of the school for so long. But then, after every bad day, there's always a good day. And slowly we are recovering. Not that the pandemic is going to go away. It will be there. We have to live with pandemic, unfortunately. But we'll get used to it, and we have to live our lives. So I was very pleased when we made the decision to open the schools, mainly for years 12 and 13. But this is a primary school, and I'm sure you must be missing your children. I mean, that's why you are in the school. I'm sure you must be connecting with them through online platform, but still it's not the same when you meet them face to face. I don't think we will be opening the school very soon. Whatever it may be, we will be making some more announcements. And our announcements will also be on when teachers will be going on leave. Right? So you will be also taking some holiday. And that plan we will provide to all the teachers. Primary school is not a problem. You can lock up and go on leave. But the problem is with the secondary schools and mainly years 12 and 13. So we're thinking of a staggered approach to leave. All teachers cannot go on leave from secondary schools. So we'll try and work out a system so that some teachers can take leave while others are working. And when years 13 and 12 finish the exam, then this set of teachers can go on leave before the next academic year start. So you can see what COVID-19 has done. We have to innovate. There is no such thing as these are the dates as we used to publish in our calendars and everyone can follow those dates. We cannot do that because every day science is telling us something else about COVID-19. And we have to wait for the scientific evidence to be sure as to what we are doing. Because this tiny virus, which we cannot see with our naked eyes, has created havoc in our lives, and also it has taken lives. So in that situation, we do not want to expose danger to our teachers as well as to our students. But I want to thank each one of you sitting around this table, and also the other table right at the back. I can see some of you, for getting yourselves vaccinated. It was extremely crucial that we as teachers and as executive members of ministry, that we are all vaccinated, because that's one way we can protect our children. And children at that tender age, it can be very difficult for you to talk to them and explain why you need to wear a mask, social distancing, and so forth. It's going to be a bit difficult because right now children are at home and they are in their own bubble. They're very comfortable moving around without a mask. And suddenly when they come to a new bubble, and then as teachers you'll be explaining to them that from now onwards you have to wear this mask and this is what you need to do. For some students it will be very difficult to comprehend and to understand why we have to do that. But I'm sure as you are very good with little ones, you'll have your own way of teaching them or probably informing them why we are doing things differently. And they will take that message very well from the teachers than from the parents or from anyone else. You know it, I know it. You know, when our kids are young, they'll come home and they'll tell you, my teacher did this. You know, they idolize their teachers. And whatever teacher says is absolutely correct. And what parents will say, they will not listen. We all know that. So you'll be able to convince them and guide them on this COVID-19. I personally want to thank all the teachers who are present here. You have been providing a lot of support to the government. There were teachers involved in the data verification process. There were teachers involved also in the initial contact tracing. There were teachers, in fact, involved in managing the quarantine facility, uh, mainly in the outer islands, because there were no one else to help. So the teachers were called in. And we are very appreciative. We thank you most sincerely for your contribution. You kept the education alive, you kept the learning going during the most difficult time, and we appreciate that. Regarding your school, I'm going to move around and have a look at this place, how it is spaced out. But Madam Head teacher is absolutely correct. This is my first visit to a government-owned primary school. And I made sure that it was included in the itinerary so that I'll be able to compare a government primary school against faith-based primary school. So that's my main intention. Now, some of you are already aware that we have our Teachers Talanoa platform. And I hope you are using that Teachers Talanoa platform. It's a platform meant for you. It is definitely not a platform for personal grievances, but it's for professional development. So it's a place where you can talk to one another, you can share your lesson plan, you can share ideas. You can also contact the ministry and talk about some of the curriculum that you are teaching, things that you need to be clarified, or you can also simply say that this part of the lesson needs to change or curriculum needs to change. You can give your opinions as well. We have reviewed the two curriculum and mainly the materials. This was Fiji Hindi and Vosa Vakaviti. So we have reviewed that. We're bringing in some changes. I found during our small exercise that we did at ministry that there is confusion about Vosa Vakaviti and Fiji Hindi. There were some schools teaching Fiji Hindi to Indo-Fijian children and Vosa Vakaviti to Itoke. It's crazy, isn't it? Because that's not what it's meant to be doing. We're supposed to be teaching the other way around. It's a conversational language. Right, so we should be teaching, and it's conversational. It's not like grammar. You got to follow the gender and whatnot is part of the language. Not really. It's just how we speak. So we found that some of the terminology used were not common terminology that we use at home. So all that need to go, and we've removed it. So I hope that I'll be talking to your head teacher just to find out when she said that she needs a special teacher. Because in our view, we don't need a special teacher. There are teachers over here who can speak Fiji Hindi and there are teachers who can speak Itoke. But if there is something more, then I need to understand from the head teacher so that we can accommodate her request that she's making for additional teachers. I will definitely take that on board. So, ladies and gentlemen, teachers, thank you very much for your contribution, and I will end here, but we can have a talanoa session later, right? Thank you, Vinaka.
I welcome you all to this